All I can say is wow. Big thanks to the girls over at Eragon and Back Again. I didn't get a formal introduction at the beginning of the episode, but just so everybody knows, they joined me and put on what I believe is my best episode. I appreciate you girls. I'm going to be on theirs, Aragon and Back Again, not this coming Wednesday, but the next one. I'll put the link down to it in the description. So go support them. They're awesome. I love what they're doing with the Aragon series and how they deep dive into what Paulini was trying to write, as well as going into what they would do themselves and projects that they're working on. So go give them a look and enjoy the episode. We kind of get into it in the middle of a conversation, and the outro will be a little rough too, but thank you again. Have a good one. Did you guys end up reading the first book too, or did you just read these couple chapters in between?
Just a couple chapters.
I went ahead and read the Wikipedia synopsis.
Yeah, okay. How long had it been since you guys have interacted with it? Lucy, have you read them at all, or?
I haven't read them at all.
Which is shocking.
It's shocking,
You
yeah.
Were, like, dragon girly.
Yeah,
this, like...
and I think I remember, like, way back in, like, middle school or somebody being like, you're in this book! And I was like, what are you talking about?
Oh, yeah,
because the character's named Lucy. So, but no, I never read them, which is wild.
Yeah,
I saw
mean,
them
this
everywhere, but I never read them.
Why? I really actually want to dig into this just for a second. Like, the covers alone, it's like this incredible close-up of a dragon with, like, a magical tear. Like, why? And they're shiny. Why didn't you,
I have
Lucia
no idea.
Hart, pick these up?
I feel like I would walk by them and see them, and like I wanted to, and I think what it might have been that thing where somebody's like, hey, I'm gonna do the dishes today, and then someone tells you do the dishes, and then you're like, I don't want to do the dishes anymore. I think that's what it was. It was like, maybe I'll read those books, and everyone's like, you should definitely read the books, and I'm like, I don't want to read the books. Just like as a middle schooler, elementary school-ish. I don't remember how long it was, but yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah. And then for me, I did read the first 3 books.
Okay.
And I was trying to figure out this morning, like, why? And then years later, it's one of those things where you're like, oh yeah, that series that I didn't finish. And you just look up on Wikipedia and like read the rest of the synopsis, and you're like, that's crazy.
I didn't even know it went in that direction. Yeah, I found this series when it was only 4 out, and then I had to wait for the rest to come out. And I think I found them in, like, I want to say 4th grade in those scholastic book fairs that you go to, you know.
Yeah.
And so my mom had given me like a $20 bill, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get something.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So that was my first series, and then that's what got me into fantasy overall, is what I'd say.
That's so good.
And it took me a while to get into the other ones, but the very next series, I was going into my librarian and I read a lot of those Magic Treehouse books. You guys ever read those?
Oh, yep.
Yep.
Yeah. So just something easy you can grasp onto. And then my librarian was talking about Aragon, and then that's when I picked that up. Probably it was in the middle of this series, since this one was still coming out. But I was getting into that older phase, wanting to read something a little bit more mature. And then once I found out that this kid was, you know, maybe a couple years older than me when he started writing it, just sucked me in even more. So those 2 series are very intertwined, especially with them. You guys were just talking about the cover of the books. They're both, you know, dragon faces, dragon eyes.
Yep.
And The Last Dragon Chronicles, the one that I'm reading, I think it's crazy how there's always an image in the eyeball itself too, pertaining to each cover, is, you know, like whatever theme is going on. Yeah. And you guys have the same cover that I do, where it's kind of little shiny just on the ridges and the scales. I bought a couple of book sets for my friends that are, you know, supporting and going through this with me. And I don't know, most box sets I thought were usually cool. They're just very not put together well. I was disappointed.
Oh.
Which sucks. Yeah. I have a fantasy, just like how Mike Schubert from TNO talks about having Rick on his podcast. I have a little running thing on if I can ever talk to Chris. You know, I've put out little feelers trying to get it early, because, you know, by book 5, if possible, got to do it now, kind of a thing.
what happened between these books, especially like 4 and 5. It's like, hey man, what is this?
Yeah.
Where did this come from?
And it takes that weird turn into a different type of universe almost too. It was a weird shift into that book.
I was trying to figure out why I didn't finish these books as a kid. I was like, I have to finish a whole series. Like, I will just not. I had to. I read all of the Cirque du Freak books, and that was the first betrayal I ever experienced in my entire life. So I was like, why didn't I finish this? And I was looking up, like, this morning, like, the release dates of the books. And I was like, oh, it's because the 4th book came out the fall of when I was in 8th grade, which meant I read the first 3 when I was in 7th grade because my library had them. And when you're that young and it's like 2007, it's before, like, at least I was knowing how to, like, keep track of when books were going to come out. In my world, books just magically appeared eventually. And that book just never magically appeared in my middle school library. I'm sure it did when I was in high school, and I just wasn't looking for it anymore. So that's why I never them.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense because I was the same way. I feel like once high school hit and we were into a little bit deeper sports, I didn't touch a book unless I had to read it for class. So this has been a journey of rediscovering literature again, and now it's tough because there's so many. Yeah, it's been a journey of that, and it's tough because now there's so many books that I want to read, but then I think, wait, that's good content. I better just hold off on that and then share it. So
tag book.
Yeah, and you know what? I actually bought that, and I got 3 chapters in, and I've held off onto it because I kind of want to do the same thing. I figured that'd be a little excerpt, just like this is the first time because I read the Inheritance book when it came out. When it first came out, and then haven't touched this series again in the same way. So it's less than 15 years, but probably solid 10 years since I've actually read the Inheritance cycle all the way through.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you guys a question that I just want you to hold in the back of your head, and then at the end of the episode, you guys can answer it. I'm not sure if you guys had listened to any of my previous episodes with my guests or not, but 2 of them, nice. So I asked them, in these books, everybody gets a special dragon, and the special dragon has their abilities, and their items that they're holding pertains to them. Gadzooks, David's dragon, is writing, so he's got the pencil and a pad. His other dragon, Grace, has the ears. She's a listening dragon. So what would your dragon be, and what items/tools would they hold? And then, just keep that kind of in the back of your head, and if you guys don't mind answering that towards the end. But I guess we can actually get into it. So I do a little bit summary, and then interrupt me whenever you guys have anything to say. I am not, how do I say this? I would like to be more critical of these. I just bring up what I've noticed with this author. He brings a lot of English accents to the story, is what I'm going to say.
This man is British. This book series is not taking place in Massachusetts.
Yeah, that was a
small
big
village
one.
in the UK. Don't lie to me, Chris.
And the amount of tea time that's brought up. Like, I have an aunt, and I was dating a girl for a very long time, and they were both very into tea. But even through with those 2 contacts,
very into tea, you say.
Yeah, as a sipping. I was never a tea drinker.
I always make a pot of tea when we were.
Oh, that's a cool little pot. Yeah, I got
it from Michael's. It's food safe. It says freaks like me drink tea.
I just have one of the electric ones that you press the button and it heats up instantly. My grandma has one, but I can't do the whistling. And I don't have the time for it. I don't know. I'm instant gratification.
I also have the electric one. It's quicker, and I like to be able to set the time or the temperature. So if I'm doing like a lower green tea or a high black tea, listen. I love my tea. Sorry,
I got a little spoiled because the girl that I was dating had the same thing. She had the loose tea leaves where she had a little scooper and had like at least 50 different. It was quite the extensive little collection. All right, so we are starting off with an open and shut case, chapter 19. And Lucy and Gwyneth are in the not Dragon's Den, not yet. They are talking back and forth inside of the room. And as we're getting deeper into these chapters, the room gets described as becoming more cave-like. There's rubble all over, drywall all over. Sheets in the bed are starting to get cut up and shredded. almost as if a dragon per se was living in here. Lucy's getting the story from Gwyneth of Gwaine and Guinevere, just parts that they hadn't heard yet. Laurel is a big part of it, and Aunty Gyweneth is just shows absolute disdain for the bears. She's calling them
Mm-hmm.
names, calling them seal breath, just stupid, not worth their time.
Racism.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
the bears are meant to also represent, like, not represent, but, like, it's starting to pull from, like, Inuit folktales and stuff, which, okay, Chris, like, what a choice you made there. But especially this, I'm like, we are supposed to understand that this character is villainous, right? Like, the fact that she is so disdainful and cruel and dismissive of the bears, who are also just an other group of people, essentially, and same way, like, the dragons are, it's like, oh, you're a bad guy. Like, you're a villain here.
Yeah.
which is funny because as we get into the further conversation, it's very obvious that the bears are, if anything, only doing right and doing good by the dragons.
Mm-hmm.
The secrets haven't been spilled. They've been protecting the location, or at least the knowledge of it, for close to 1,000 years now. So
Mm-hmm.
it's solely what does my thought is, and we got it last section. This is Gwilanna, the evil Sybil.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what her goal is. Is it to bring back Gwaine in his full glory? I don't see how that could
Mm-hmm.
be possible, because they explain that once your tears go on, you can't bring them back. You can't revive them. So if they're not going to do that, I don't know what she could do with this power. If
Mm-hmm.
Guinevere, who's this special person, couldn't hold it within herself, I don't see how Gwilanna can hold it or use it
Mhm.
in any way.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going back and forth, and Lucy's getting pretty upset because she's never heard this side of the story. Gwyneth is
Mm-hmm.
going on and saying that Guinevere was stupid to trust the bears. She had come back and asked Aunty Gyweneth for a reward of giving this fire tear back, and Gwyneth had promised this girl a child of clay
Mm.
hair and what is it? Clay hair and scales. And then it kind of throughout this chapter in the conversation is explained that this lineage from Guinevere, I'm taking it as almost immaculate conception. She molds
Yeah.
the baby out of clay, and then somebody comes through and quickens or fertilizes it. And my question was with this, I know you guys read these chapters. Throughout earlier, they were talking about the character that just came in, Xana.
Yeah,
And
Xana. I
she's,
wore my purple eyeshadow and purple lipstick today to honor Xana
oh
because
yeah,
David is so ooh, what's the rating for your podcast?
I
He's so very much wants a big titty goth girl, but he's so terrified of her, and it's like, David, you need to relax.
that
Also,
was
poor
my first thought
Sophia.
is, dude, like I understand it. Yeah, I don't know if you listened to that last one that I released yesterday with that guy, but we were talking this. Just break it off, man. You have this woman sitting right here in front of you that's very straightforward, very to the
Yeah,
point.
Xana's kissed him twice, and the both times he was never like, I have a girlfriend. Like, does she know that? I don't know. I didn't. I
Yeah,
don't know if he's told her that until later on, but it's like, David, you're in the wrong here. Xana's done nothing wrong. She's just letting you know what she wants, and you're the one being shady.
and the one time that David does open his mouth, she's already in his arms, and they're like having this intimate moment, and he's like, just
Rain.
sticking his foot in his mouth. So, yeah, I've had that feeling of just like, man, I know he's supposed to be a young, awkward guy, but instead of this 20 to 21-year-old range, I'm getting more like 16-year-old boy feeling from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to think that I'm like suavecito, but you miss so many cues, or at least I do. I'm just way out there. I'm in my own world. Um,
It's giving like Peter Parker where he's like, I'm just nerdy and awkward, and he's got Gwen Stacy and fucking Mary excuse me. He's got Gwen Stacy and Mary Jane like wanting to fall all over him, and I'm like, this is just some like real self-insert like fantasy stuff from our writers here,
yeah,
cuz
don't feel bad
he's
about
got the
cussing
two hotties.
whatsoever. I
Okay.
do it all the time. So yeah. The way that I'm approaching this is that I'll let the adults choose if they let the kids listen to it, because there's already
Fair
been a
enough.
few times in the book series itself where Chris has written some more risque things, I would say, for a 8 to 12-year-old age range, like that description
Mhm.
last week where they're talking about the big titty goth mommy, and Liz is pointing out
Goth
she's
mommy.
got a great figure, and then Xana's sitting there posing in the rain telling David, look. So it's just like, whoa, dude, all right.
Yeah.
I get it. I didn't think it was that kind of book yet.
And
Um,
yet.
And yet.
So Lucy and Gwyneth are going back and forth. Liz eventually comes in and kind of cuts it off, says that she wants to tell Lucy on her own time the most important parts of the story and make sure that it's the truth. Because obviously,
I
when you're speaking to one person, you're going to get one point of view versus the other.
Mhm. Exactly. Yeah, I think this sequence of Lucy learning starting to be a more complicated version of what is essentially we
Yeah.
can like gather her family's origin story and the
Mhm.
origin of these dragons, and because I'm like, oh, is this where Lucy came from? Maybe. I'm
I,
pretty sure this is like this clay thing is like where we get these women now. But she's probably grown up hearing a bedtime story version of this, because
Yeah.
it's not the first time we, the audience, are like getting the story of Gwen and uh is it
Gwyneth.
Gwyneth,
Guinevere.
thank you.
Oh, Gwyneth is
Guinevere,
the auntie.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And as like
So many Gs.
more simpler fairy tale-esque version. And so I think this is a really interesting presentation for Delancey to bring, especially with it's very true to a childhood experience of
Mhm.
you grow up hearing one story about your family, your nation, your religious beliefs, things like that. And then there is a part where you're like, okay, well, it's not as simple as what you were told when you were little. Like there is a bit more complicated in that. But how and the way Aunty Gwyneth is presenting it is just so cruel and dismissive because she has
Yeah.
very strong opinions of how she thinks. And clearly she is this evil Sybil from the past because she takes things very personally.
Yeah, she does.
Very personally.
And so
It gives me the same vibe as, have you guys watched Avatar, The Last Airbender?
Yes.
So there's an episode where they're first getting to the Fire Nation, and Aang goes
in
to
the
school. Yeah, and you can just see how the brainwashing and the propaganda has gone through the schools, and these
Yep.
kids are too scared to celebrate or have their own culture, and then Aang kind of teaches their history. But yeah, it gives that just completely brainwashed, and it sucks because at least to my understanding of this so far is that obviously she's just evil, so we don't know what her plan is, but it can't be good.
Yeah.
And Guinevere was able to sense that, and who knows what the interaction with the bear was to this point. We still
Mhm.
don't have that. It really irritates me. It's just my own thing. I bring up the Chiron the Centaur mentor. I tell him that he's hired from TNO to come here and mess up the plot too. But it's just, I hate that we are only getting one story of this dragon. And it seems like
is
we're going to get this
so
one
frustrating.
story all the way through. I want some history of some other dragons. You know, like go back at least 2,000 years and tell me about Gwen's mother or something.
Yeah. Like, what is this big, complicated? You're describing in a previous episode. You talk about like Dragon Dynasty and the polar bears, and they didn't interact very much. But like, what does that look like? Like, what
Yeah.
does that mean? And we aren't really being told it. And it feels like because none of the characters who are participating in the events now are invested or care about that. They all just care about Gwen and the fire and his scale. Like, this is the moment they care about. They aren't interesting in this ancient history lore that I think we, the readers, are like, no, but more of that, please.
Yeah.
Well, what was that? That sounds really cool. What was going on there? Nobody cares. It's like, okay, I guess I don't get to know.
Yep.
Yeah, which is crazy because I would think if you had 900 years as Gwilanna to find out the one answer you've been questioning this whole time, you would have gotten a little bit closer. Because it says that
Oh,
she's
yeah.
been she's been present at every descendant's birth since Guinevere.
Yep.
So you're telling me that nothing of this magnitude has happened in that long seems a little sketch to me.
I mean, but that's why the story's happening now.
Yeah.
It's like, this is why the book is being written. This is why we, the readers, get to experience this moment in time, because it is the moment where
Yep.
something important is finally happening.
I like that perspective. I like
Yep.
one thing you guys talk about in your podcast is who's telling the story in Aragon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes Aragon will use big words that he probably shouldn't be using at this time. And there's
Buddy,
a
how do you know
couple
that word?
discussions on, yeah, a couple discussions on, it might be Brahm, might be this, that, and the other. I have a little theory on it on myself just because since Brahm dies so early, it does make sense, but there's one character to me that sticks out all the way through, even if it's just Eldenari, is Gladier. He was there before, he knew Brahm, he trained with Aragon, he was very intimate with Saphira and knew that knowledge, and then through the Eldenari was there through 90% of the rest of the story too.
Mhm.
So I think we might be hearing it from that perspective. But
I
when
love
I was
that.
listening to your guys' episode yesterday, or I was re-listening to it today, it made me think about this one, and I think we're getting this story from Laurel's perspective, from the bear.
Ooh,
Okay.
that's so interesting. Yeah, because that is the question of like who is, because it's, I mean, that's also like the meta-analysis and the meta-narrative is like the author is telling us this story. It's like, yeah, we know that, but like it's way more fun to be like, but how,
Yeah.
where are we being influenced and why are we being told these things?
Yep.
Because I was surprised when this chapter opened and we weren't with David. And I was like, yo, okay, does this happen a lot? Do we usually swing to like someone else's perspective for so long?
Yeah, well, with this one, it's tough because there's only Liz, Lucy, Xana, Bacon, David. There's 5 characters that are really in this book consistently. And so you get a lot of that intimate time, and it's easier for them to stick some time with the new character, Gwilanna. I think you guys came in at the perfect time. You guys got the huge lore dump. I don't know how that worked out. It was just divine intervention.
Okay.
So I think just because it was the first chunk of something interesting and actually magical happening, we got to spend a lot of time. And in the chapters, it's actually describing that it's happening at the same time. The same time that Lucy and Gwyneth are having this conversation, David and Xana are over at the school talking to Mr. Bergstrom. And Gwilanna actually mentions this towards the end of their conversation. She's saying that she can feel the bears coming around and that they said her name, and it just feels completely wrong to her. And as they're going through this conversation, Lucy's packing up. She finds Grace in the wardrobe, but decides to leave her there just on the off chance, which I even have it right here. I said spy on the inside. Nice.
Yes.
Yep.
So, I got confused because they keep talking about there's another listening dragon that sits on top of the fridge in the kitchen. And for some reason in my mind until now, I thought that this was one and the same. I guess there's 2 different listening dragons. This is Sophie's old dragon that David's got a hold of because she's out in Africa right now. And then the listening dragon that's on the fridge is Liz's. So they can obviously communicate back and forth, which is perfect. We get Grace listening in on Gwilanna opening the case, and it's opened only by dragon tongue. And I think this was very inspired by Harry Potter and Parseltongue. I don't know if Chris had read that or not, because this is right around the same time. This probably came out 3 or 4 years after.
Yeah. But, like, being able to open up, like, magical things with a magical language.
Yeah, that's fair. It's
like
not a new
trope
idea.
Of fantasy.
Yeah, especially I always come back to the Lord of the Rings, that speak friend, and it'll
speak
open.
friend and enter. And it's like if one person reads this out loud in Elfish, the thing will open.
Yep.
Yeah, so that makes sense. That was just my first connection is Harry Potter. But so the dragon Gretel is sitting there making up other potions, just hard at work.
So bad for Gretel.
Yeah.
She just seems like a cute little girly pop, just wanting to make potions, and she's just working for this evil witch.
Yeah.
And like like slave driven almost. She doesn't have a
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's
choice
so
in
mean
it.
to her.
Yeah,
Like,
and
she's like blowing smoke and she's like, knock that off. And I'm like, why do you even have this dragon if you're not going to be delighted by her dragon antics? I
Yeah.
can't believe.
it made it interesting to me when they said that she was made by Liz's hand.
Yeah.
So this is a pretty recent development for Gwilanna to have, or at least to our knowledge so far, for Gwilanna to have this close of a connection to dragons, period.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, if I was in Gwilanna's situation, I would try to be a little bit nicer to Liz. Like, Liz needs to stand
so
up.
fascinating. We keep describing her as like the evil witch because obviously she's an antagonist. Like, obviously she has malicious intent, but she's shown up at every single descendant's birth, which means, and as we see as the chapters progress, like what she is doing
Yeah.
for this next egg birth that's coming along. And so she was there for Lucy. She knows Liz. Like, we're calling her evil, but she's still trusted enough to be brought into this very intimate experience.
Yeah.
But it also seems like she's just the only one that knows how to do this. And so she's like, they have to put up with her.
It's very baffling to me.
I'm perplexed.
I'm like, why is she allowed here? She's obviously proven she's evil, and everyone's like, oh, we shouldn't trust her, but then they trust her anyway, and it's just like, what?
Yeah, and that's
I'm
why
very
I'm a big
confused.
believer in knowledge is power. I was talking about it in my last episode. I play a character in D&D where that's all he's based after because he believes, he
Nice.
can take over the world somehow if he can get all the knowledge. And it seems that Gwilanna just has a monopoly on anything dragon besides
Yeah.
the bears. Besides the bears. And that makes me wonder how that connection was broken. If Guinevere was so in touch and in tune and had a good relationship with the bears to run away and go with them, how did her descendants get tied up with Gwilanna unless Gwilanna just inserted herself and, kind of forced her way in?
Probably that, because I think it also goes back into like the story, like who is keeping the story alive of Gwaine and Guinevere and telling that down through the ages, and how Gwilanna was there when it happened. And Liz is probably going off the story that she was told by her mother, who was told by her mother, who was told by her mother. And again, each of these women is only here because Gwilanna rolls up and does her witchy magic to let it happen. And so it's a conflict. It's a conflict that I am, as a reader, I'm having in this moment, especially during this sequence of chapters where we see so much of like, oh, like this is how powerful this person is. We're seeing the plot really progressing. We're seeing the magic unfold.
Yep.
David can see the dragons now. I
Yep.
remember, I was so glad when you could finally see the dragons. I was getting so tired of the whole, he thought for a moment that perhaps he saw this thing that was magical, but maybe it was just a trick of the light. I'm like, David, it's been a book and a half. I'm so tired of you.
Yeah, there's been a couple of things that get me, just like you said, the trick of the light, the imagination, and then the other one, how you guys bring up that Eragon is always waking up for some reason.
Oh my
He's
God.
always just coming. Yeah, it's always raining in these books. Always
Because
raining.
it's the UK.
Yeah.
And I bring that up,
Rain.
and so there's a couple times that I just have that song that plays in the back of my head. I always forget the name, but it's like, the raindrops keep falling on my head. That's always constantly playing it. Yeah. So that kind of brings us to the end of that first two chapters. Then we get to David makes a plan. And again, it emphasizes that this is happening at the same time.
Yeah.
David and Xana are coming out of talking with Bergstrom, and they're kind of making a plan. Xana, they're having a pretty intimate conversation, honestly. And before they decide to part ways, Xana asks a question that I was asking myself too. Is this Liz's kid or is this my kid? And my first thought, I don't know about you guys, my first thought is it makes more sense for it to be Xana's kid to me.
Interesting. Do we know if Liz, the egg that's like Xana quickened, it was a clay egg though, right?
Okay, so this is what I was confused on when my buddy was reading it last week too. When I was reading it, I came to the thought that because it was on the shelf with all the other dragons that were like half out of the egg or cracking out of the egg, but this was the
Yeah.
only full one. But we also didn't get a confirmation on that from the Lacey. Like you can infer that it's just a clay egg, but we never got
Yeah.
it word for word saying that it was a clay egg, just that it was a bronze egg. And so my buddy was wondering if maybe this was just a forgotten egg that was found and it's been so long that it's almost fossilized
Mm-hmm.
and it was just kind of decoration piece. My thought is that since we're getting this immaculate conception children made out of clay, I think it is a clay egg, but Xana has the special abilities to quicken it.
I think so. Because the other thing that she has is, oh, hold on, I'm looking for that. When with her and Liz having the conversation, she talks about how she's looking at all the herbs and stuff that Gretel's bringing in. Why are you using honesty flowers? I don't remember them
Yes.
when Lucy was born, and so we get again, we can infer that, oh, this is how Lucy was born. Like,
Yeah.
there was the egg, and it was quickened, and all this process of the hatching and the herbs and everything else and having the egg. And so if that's the case, then I think the conclusion would be, like, it's a clay egg that Liz made for... Did she intend to have another child? And if it is, like, Xana was able to quicken it, how did the eggs get quickened? Like, how does Lucy get born if they were surprised that this had happened, or can Liz have quickened the egg if she wanted to, and then Xana just happened to have this power unexpectedly?
Yeah, see, that's a good question because that's what I was wondering is what made them the parent? Was it the quickening or the making of the egg? And um, you brought up something that I always thought about too with Lucy. Who quickened Lucy? Because Xana, I think the reason why we're getting a boy now, the first boy in 900 years, and he's going to have a tail that disappears and eyes that slowly go back to normal, but he's going to be feared because Xana is the one that quickened him. I think if it was to be Liz, she would get a daughter again, just keeping that lineage going. And then now that it's somebody completely unrelated, it just flipped.
Yeah, and so in that case, if this child's whole being is different because of Xana, then we would be like, well, I think that's Xana's kid. If she had that much influence over, like, the sex and gender and identity and personality of this, like, that seems like that sounds like it might be your kid. But then if Liz is the one doing all of the action, listen, I think what we have here is like an egg donation.
Oh.
Yeah, he's straight up.
Where
Yep.
Xana donated the egg. We have the clay was the sperm. We did IVF here, and now Liz is carrying the child. So in that case, Liz is the mom and Xana's the donor.
I mean, yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. I can't fight with that logic.
That's so good.
Listen, the answer is it's because this book came out in 2003 that the answer isn't just both. Both are parents. It's both your kids. But the answer is it's both your kids.
Yeah.
I mean,
both the
essentially,
mothers.
that's kind of what I figured too. Either that or it was like Xana's and David's, or, like that was going to represent in their kids. But it goes a different direction in the later book. So, yeah. I don't know.
Listen. This is clearly a series where, because there was so much time between books coming out, the author was taken in a different direction with the narrative.
Yeah, I said that about that with Sophie, with my buddy last week. I think he just wrote himself into a corner, and then 5 books later, he's like, oh shit, I didn't do anything with this person. Yeah. So they had to do something about it, like give her 2 or 3 chapters just to close out that storyline. But yeah.
Oh, right. He had a girlfriend. Here's a side tangent. I think we had Sophie. She was supposed to be the series girlfriend. And then Delancey meets a big titty hot goth girl and was like, actually. And he wants a witchy hot big titty goth girl. And it's like, yeah.
You know what? It's funny though, is that Liz said that David knows how to pick them, which makes me infer that Sophie was thicker too, but they described her as plain. So I think you're right. Like maybe somebody just popped up in front of Chris.
Plain? He's like,
Yeah.
I don't want him to have a plain girl.
Yeah, straight up. They described her as plain, but then Liz was saying that he knows how to pick them and has a type. So I'm thinking maybe he's just like thick.
Yeah, then I think that retcons that, like, because Xana's like very like hot goth. This is her aesthetic. It scares David off how attracted he is to this. And we're saying that, oh, you have a type, and I'm like, I don't think Sophie.
Right, yeah, it
So
was
they must
definitely.
just both be curvy girls, which I love that for them.
Yeah.
It makes me think of. Have you guys seen or not the movie, the show Community? It was a little sitcom.
Oh no, I haven't, but I've been meaning to.
Okay, it's pretty funny. There's this guy, and I forget his name. He's a pretty big comedian. He's completely bald, and he's won a ton of awards because he plays a gay character on the show. I believe that he's gay in real life
Like
too.
the
I don't know how to say that in real life. I believe he's actually gay too.
The actor is gay.
Yeah, the actor is gay, and he does a great job. But there's this one part where they're looking at some weird animal video, and he's like, "I hope this doesn't awake anything in me," and that's what I picture right there.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, all right. Yeah, there's something. Makes me want to see the author's wife. I haven't seen her there because he's old now. I thought, well, old. Sorry, Chris. He's mature. Yeah, I want to say like
Listen.
mid-70s.
The march of time comes for us all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm almost 30. It's getting kind of scary. When
Almost
my
30.
right
Oh,
knee's.
wee babe.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say my knee's just starting to creak a little bit.
Oh, you gotta watch out for that. I'm literally in physical therapy because I hurt my shoulder throwing toys for my cat. So
Yeah. See, and that's what I do.
after a while.
I'm terrible about. I sleep on my shoulder, so then when I wake up in the morning, I'm
yeah.
just messed
Take
up.
care of your back.
Yeah, for sure.
There are some nights where I'll just lay on the ground for a flat surface.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, good, yes.
Good. Listen to your elders.
Your
Yeah.
elders.
So what about you? I feel like we've dominated the conversation.
I think it was really funny because I think in the second chapter, the David makes plans. As I was reading, I'm like, I don't think I like David. I don't think I do because when she has like a serious topic to talk about, she's like, hey, I want to talk about something, and he's like, oh my god, we can't keep kissing, and it's like, hey dude, like maybe keep it in your pants a little bit, like maybe it has something not to do with you at all, actually, hold on. But just like how I don't know, he seems to be because at first when he was like my impression was when the chapter first started, he kind of comes off as a little bit mature. Like he comes off as this like put together person, but that at the end of the chapter, and I was like, are you 16? Like what is happening right now? And that's one of the things that I wrote. I have notes from it, and throughout all of my notes, I'm like, how old is everyone? Like I'm so, again, this is I didn't read the synopsis, I didn't read the books, I only read these chapters, and I'm like, I'm so confused. Like I don't know how old anyone is right now. It's just weird.
You know what? I love that though, because one of my plans was I wanted to have Buddy do exactly that. Just be completely out of context. Don't read the rest of the series. I'm going to give you these chapters that are extremely lore heavy, and you're just going to be the lore guy. You're going to be my historian. So when I need you, you're going to, call you back. So that I'm so happy that that's how you're reading it. How did you reading the whole section? The 6 chapters. Did it give you a how should I say this? Because I don't get high fantasy out of this since it's
No.
kind of in the urban, more futuristic series. How was it easy to get into? Was it something you could feel like you could read on like a Sunday afternoon or something?
I think so. What I liked about the first chapter is as I was reading an open and shut case, like, again, not knowing anything prior to it, I'm like, I feel like this could have made a really good prologue.
Oh,
Or or
Yeah.
something with
Mhm.
just the way that Gwyneth was talking to Lucy, and then if it were to like cut to like something like David or something, whatever. But I'm like, wow, this is actually a really good chapter to start on. I don't feel super
Yeah.
lost.
Mhm.
But then as it kept going, because then I'm like, are people dragons? Are people half dragons? Like, what do they look like? Do they have dragons? I'm like, I don't understand. So I'm like, a lot of like the like mini stuff like totally went over my head. Like y'all are talking, I'm like, oh, I didn't pick up on that at all. But a lot of it was just like, I'm like, I have no idea. Like somebody laid an egg, or no, they had to make an egg. I'm so confused. So that was fun. But I do like
what
all
were
the
your
little
first
dragons.
impressions on Bacon, on Mr. Bacon?
I loved him. He was great. I figured like, I'm like, oh, this is the first like full human is kind of what I kept thinking about
He's just a guy.
because he can't see the dragons, right?
Yes.
Right.
And then also the dragons don't want to be perceived, so they can turn into stone.
They are okay. I guess this is important context.
That's weird.
So in this book, David's a college student. He's going to school in the area. He moves into town. He stays with Liz and Lucy Pennycettle. He's just a tenant.
Yeah.
Renting out a room in their place.
Yeah.
And Liz is a sculptor. She's an artist. She's a sculptor. She makes little clay dragons.
Okay, that makes more sense.
And they're alive.
Yeah.
But only special dragons. I don't think every single dragon she makes is alive. Because she
Alive.
sells
No.
these, right? Like,
Yeah.
this is her income.
Yeah. She goes to like a farmer's market, I think she says, on Thursdays and Saturdays, and she's kind of pretty well known in her community.
Yeah.
There's like the library, well, not the librarian is Bacon, but the gardener at the librarian, the clerk at the supermarket, just random people have her dragons all around. But it seems that if you're going to be anywhere close to the penny kettles and interact, you do get a special dragon. And
Yep. And those are the ones that are alive.
Yeah.
And in the first book, what I remember finding really, really frustrating when I was reading it as a kid is that, like, I, as the reader, understood, yeah, the dragons are alive. Yeah,
Right.
Liz and Liz and Lucy treat them like they're alive. They're alive. David can't see them, and whenever he kind of does, he just imagines this happening, or it's a trick of
Yeah.
the light. And I remember being so vexed that this man wouldn't get on board, so I could have more dragon fun. Like, I need you to get
Yeah.
your act together, David, and buy into the premise of the novel you're in. Because this is
Yeah.
ridiculous. Which is
And
why I was
you-
so jazzed when I realized we had this chapter where evil witch Sybil just uses the magic, and he's like, I can see the dragons now. I've always been able to see the dragons. Like, whatever. I'm not even
Oh my
finished anymore.
Yeah, well, I think of that attitude as because I think it was maybe the chapter before, maybe it was in this section, I can't quite remember, but they're talking about how Gretel blows the potion into Gadzooks's nose as well
Yes,
as David. That makes David able to see. But I also think, because she talks about how that put his mind kind of in a
Yes,
cloud
he can't,
and is
like,
distracting him.
right.
Yeah, so I think that opened his mind, and she brainwashed him, or somehow inputted the information of, yes,
and how
they're
I was thinking
real.
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so yeah, that's all for that one, right? They end with Xana asking that, or no, I was just saying that
Yeah.
his mind gets kind of clouded, and so he's not able to put two and two together, because he says that he gets kind of
Yeah.
awakened by when Laurel gets brought up again. The name
Yeah.
shakes him, and he doesn't know where it
It's
comes
like-
from.
It's interesting 'cause it's like his mind is clouded, but in a sense that he's just kind of it's clouded in a way that actually opens his eyes to what's really going on. Because I feel like a part of David's problem is he's constantly like justifying what he sees with like, that can't be real. He's like overthinking his whole world, or like that's what Xana, I think, calls him out when she first comes to the house.
Yeah.
Is like 2 episodes ago is the one I listened to. And you talk about how she's like, dude, this is real. You need to buy in. And like, that's his problem, is that he just can't like get in and just chill enough to see it. So his mind is clouded. So he's not able to write. And Liz is like, he is an author. He's a storyteller. He needs to be able to do this. Not just because he's like trying to win this award. He's to go to the Arctic. He's going to meet a publisher to get his book published. Like, if he can't perform, if he can't do this thing that's integral to him, like, and again, we know Sybil is evil because Gwyneth is evil because she's like, whatever, who cares? He's just a writer. Who cares? But like, it is that interesting balance of, because now that he's in a state where he's not able to do the thing that is intrinsically him, he's suddenly able to like see and perceive the dragons as they are, because he just doesn't question it anymore.
Yep.
And I find that interesting. I don't know if that was an intentional like commentary of the author, or just a happenstance?
Interesting. Yeah.
I don't believe in happenstance. I don't believe in coincidences. I actually have that in my notes down here. How it's interesting. It's polar bears in the Arctic and dragons all lead to the same place. No such thing as consequences. It's very well planned. I think for a child's series,
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect it to be this well interwoven. You know,
That's true.
But listen, kids deserve good interwoven series. Like,
Yes.
that's another thing. I think we should always hold books to a higher standard. Not to say that like we should judge this on the same level we judge Lord of the Rings. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's not meant to be that.
Yes.
But I'm definitely someone who's like, if you read a book or like see a piece of media and you're like, this is trash, and people are like, it's for kids, who cares? I'm like, we should have more respect for kids.
Yeah.
They deserve compelling plots and
Yes.
interesting
Right.
characters
Yep.
that they can interact with at their current like comprehension level.
Yep.
That's why I loved Avatar back then, because I thought it was such a
Yes!
good story
Oh,
for
for
a younger
sure.
audience too.
Yeah.
So after Gretel after Gretel sets her potion onto the boys, Gwilanna is telling David that she's going to need a lot of help with the baby around. Just flat out says it. Liz is going to have a child. And David doesn't react or anything.
cool.
And
In 4
Yeah,
days
all
sounds
right.
great.
Yeah.
Whatever you need, yeah. And that's the other thing, yeah. 4 days for no preparation. What are they going to tell the neighbors? I mean, there are people that are in this community that have known the Penny Kettles for almost a decade, I'm assuming, as old as Lucy is. And for Liz to just pop out with a child randomly, like, oh, I didn't even know you were pregnant, you know?
You weren't pregnant 4 days ago. It's also like when in the beginning, in the first chapter, when Lucy's like, why didn't you tell me all these things? Like, why don't I get to know the story?
Yeah.
And Liz is like, I'm like waiting for the right time of the moon. I'll tell you in 4 days. And in 4 days is when she's supposed to have this baby. And we're like, okay.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yep.
I think, right, what's the story? Is you're going to roll up and be like, oh yeah, my cousin passed away. We've taken their son. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Where's the paperwork? Hold on,
Yeah.
where's his birth certificate? Where's social security number? Like,
Just give me everything, and then don't worry about it. You'll be fine. So after this, Gwilanna sends David into the backyard on a mission to break up the ice. She gets nasty, terrible feelings from it. It reminds her of the Arctic. Says that she can sense the bear being here. And at the
he's
same
evil.
time,
Yeah.
I feel a disturbance in the force.
Yeah. Right.
So at the same time, Lucy and David are in the backyard is when Gwilanna says that it's time and tells Liz to start preparing. Liz brings the egg close to her, lays down on the ground, and Gwilanna makes the potion for her. That's kind of what you were talking about earlier when she brought out the honesty weed, put it in there, and puts her into a trance or dreamlike state, tells her to go back into the old times. And Liz is saying that she knows how to do it. She's done it before. She does this all
Yeah.
the time. This is her process, which I felt a little weird too, but it also seems that she gets put back into a childlike state.
yeah.
And Gwilanna's asking her, what are you seeing? What's going on? Tell me the truth. And Liz puts out her arms with the egg, and she's saying, catching snow. And at that instant, outside, as David is just about to strike the ice, Lucy gets excited. She looks up, snow falling down, and she runs inside herself to go tell her mom. And she sees what's going on. She sees her mom's in not necessarily conscious state. She's kind of muttering, almost
Yeah.
chanting a little bit, and she's asking all these questions. And Gwilanna just turns, man, like
I
fucked
like
up.
this. That's
Mhm.
something that I really
Yeah.
like. Where she looks, I have it right here if you don't mind me reading it.
Oh, please do.
Yeah, the woman she knew as her sharp and bossy aunt looked more like an ancient, craggy old hag with matted. Did I say that? Matted. There we go. With smoke matted hair and teeth like snail shells and nails like pincers and eyes like wrinkled purple raisins. And I'm like, whoa! But then in an instant, it's all gone. And I'm like, I think Lucy has the right reaction because that is terrifying. You walk in and see that, and then the next moment it's gone. It's like, what is happening?
It's because Lucy lives with magic. Like,
Yeah.
she's not David who's gonna be like, that was a weird trick of a light. Lucy's like, oh no, that's your true form.
Yeah.
Oh no, where's my mom?
Yep.
Like
Right, and I
Lucy's
think she put it
11.
two and two together right there
Mhm.
that this was Gwilanna. I was surprised that
Yeah.
Liz held that back because honestly, I don't know. Maybe it's just the way that I would raise my child.
Mhm.
But I feel like I would like, hey, this person's dangerous. They help us, but just so you know, like, don't fuck around with her. She's gonna try to do
Yeah,
everything in her
it's
power.
this is important. How old is Lucy? I think she's 11.
Yeah. So in the first book, uh, the reason why David started writing his story was for her 11th birthday, and from
Yeah,
what I'm
okay.
gathering, this second book is only a couple of months after that. So I'm
She
guessing that
doesn't
he's like
act
20,
like
or not she.
yeah,
Yeah, she doesn't act
yeah.
like 11. She
She
acts
doesn't
much younger.
she acts much younger. She acts like she's 6.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. See, I feel so validated for that because I was
Oh,
telling my buddy that too because I was like, man, I helped raise my little sister and my little cousin just because family was busy and whatnot. So I know what an 11-year-old does, and at that point they're starting to border on that like I don't want anything to do with you, leave me alone phase.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I get more of like that 6 to 8 year old range with Lucy.
Yes. Like I feel like Lucy, because like I spent I was like last year I worked for an after school program at a middle school, so it's like 6th grade or 7th grade, 9th grade, so it's like 13-year-olds, 12-year-olds were the youngest ones, so like a little older than Lucy, but still that I think you could see like Lucy, her mom's very artistic. She lives in this place with dragons, so I can see her still being like a whimsical child, not
for
really
sure.
being like, ugh, I'm too cool for this. But she also like the way she asks like Pepper's so many questions, the way she responds to things, it does read as so much younger.
And I think it's the way the book describes her reacting to certain things. It was like I'm like, oh, she's like 6 or 7, just the way she's reacting to things. But then as it goes on, I'm like, how old is this child? Like, I have no idea.
Like running and like, I gotta tell my mom it's snowing. I'm like,
that's like
not
6,
that's
7.
6, 7. And not to say like again, I just feel like I don't know if I don't know if this is just a sign of the author not recognizing that 11 is a lot older for a kid.
Yeah.
Or wanting her to be a certain way, but still wanting her to be in an age range where she has more autonomy than a younger child would. But yeah, it was definitely a thing where especially when her mom's reading her this story, which I think is very cute.
I think I like
it's charming, but it's like, but she's 11. Like I feel like at that age, like this is when my mom was first reading me the Harry Potter books.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, fuck J.K. Rowling, but also like I was getting to the age where we'd shifted from my mom reading the books to me reading the books to her.
Yeah.
And me reading the books to myself. And so that's another thing that I caught on, like, I think them reading together demonstrates a closeness in this mother-daughter bond.
Yeah.
But I think the way she's like, I've read this book to you so many times. I'm like, Lucy's 11. She should have just read the book herself so many times.
It's like, I think it would have had the same impact if Lucy had read the story to her mother. Then, yeah, I don't know.
Or even if Lucy was just sitting in bed reading it herself, I think you could get the feel of how important that story is to her if she's just chilling without anybody else with it in her hands,
Yeah.
I also have a thing with that.
Crosswords with Henry?
No.
Sorry, I just like the name of that chapter.
It's like, I do like Crosswords with, that's a really good chapter title. But like, I actually highlighted this line because I read it out loud to Claire and she was like, yeah, I don't understand either. But it was like, in a voice that suggested she was stroking Lucy's brow. And I'm like, how does a voice suggest physical, like, anything? Like, it can be soft for sure, but for me, I'm like, that just caught me. Like, I'm like, what I think would have been better if he had like glanced into the room and she said that in a soft voice,
right?
And then
that's what it is, because David is hearing this.
David's hearing this.
He can't see that she's stroking the brow. Right, that's a crazy way to like. I appreciate adherence to the fact that David can't see it, but like.
Yeah, I'm like, if he had glanced in and seen that, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, that would have gotten but I'm like, no.
Yeah, that's so wild.
It tripped me up a little bit. I was like, nah. I'm like, might be too nitpicky for like a children's kind of like younger adult reading book, but I was just like, no.
Yeah.
The vibe.
I don't even know what I could add to that because that's almost like 98% what my notes have here. I was just trying to go back and flip to it. So you hit every dot that I needed to. I think I kind of skipped over the whole Bacon chapter, but nothing really too much happens to that other than you see how.
I just want to dunk on David for just a second, real quick, if I may.
This like solidified my I don't like David.
Yeah. So it was like it talks about how he managed to break nearly all of Henry's rules, and Henry has a lot of rules, and it's like a little bit okay. I get it. You're a single bachelor who like served in the armed forces at some point in time. Yeah. You like things a certain way, and it's like the first rule. He's like this included using the butter knife and the marmalade, which does seem like okay. Come on, Henry. Like that's a little bit nitpicky, but like maybe we're on the spectrum a little bit. We like things a certain way. I'm not gonna be mad at him. But then it's like the things that David's complaining that he broke the rules are leaving unwashed cups in the drain board, sitting on the sofa with his outdoor coat, tapping the glass of Harry's aquarium. Why are you tapping the glass? You're a 20-something. Don't tap the glass. Don't tap the glass of an aquarium. You're an adult.
My literal first note in crosswords with Henry, because I was taking notes while I did this, is how old is David?
Spraying globs of toothpaste on the bathroom mirror. Oh my gosh, David, you're a bad house guest.
Yeah.
Is this what you've been doing at the penny kettle place? Are you spitting You're 20-something. What do you... Yeah, you spit toothpaste and you didn't wipe it off? David.
To me, that's just somebody who's been very taken care of his whole life. Because I don't know about you guys, but me, myself, I've been single for a while and been the bachelor life. So I hate cleaning the toothpaste off of my own mirror, man. I'm the one that has to do that. So David, just shape up, brother. That's fucked up.
Leaving unwashed cups on the drain board? David, that's for clean things only.
That would drive me nuts.
I can't, but what are you doing?
Bananas.
I could maybe possibly deal with it if it was water, but they were just talking that as marmalade, so there's no excuses.
Marmalade's like a spread, like a jam-like spread. And again, this book is not taking place in Massachusetts. Americans don't use marmalade.
No, we say jam or jelly.
Yeah, but marmalade's a very specific kind of thing.
Marmalade's very specific, yes.
That's what Paddington likes. He likes marmalade.
Yes.
Yeah, my first note on the Bacon rules were that he had to be clean-shaven and that David breaks literally everything.
Yeah, and it's like, yes, I think it's like, it's wild because I feel like it's supposed to be like, wow, Henry Bacon's like really finicky, but I'm like, no, half of these are like really
just respect.
Like respect, and it's like, what are you doing, David?
I also think like if David is staying with Mr. Bacon, then it's like you should adhere. Like I know all of his rules are like some of his rules are kind of crazy, but it's like I'm like you are staying. He is allowing you to stay in his house. You should probably follow some rules, my guy.
For free.
For free.
Right?
Yes. You're behind on rent at Liz's place. I just didn't want to. I didn't want us to leave this episode without calling out David one more time.
Yeah.
This boy is a mess. And the other thing is, like, characters can be a mess, right? Like, David being like, I don't know how to handle Gwilanna, just kind of being, like, a messy 20-something college kid. Like, those aren't inherently bad things for a character to have, because, like, that's realistic, and that's fine, and we're not perfect. And he can be, like, so attuned to, like, the writing and this bigger magical world that he wants to puzzle out, and still not know how to handle women, because he's, like, 20. But it does make me wonder, like, are these supposed to be intentional, like, character flaws that he needs to overcome? Or is it, like, not? Like, is it supposed to be Xana's just coming on too strong and it's, like, she's the problem? Are we supposed to recognize that, like, oh, Henry's just so finicky? And not that, like, David is a bad house guest. Like, I'm not sure where we, the reader, are supposed to, like, how we're supposed to understand the character.
I hope that they're planned flaws, because if they're not, I would feel differently about Chris, straight up.
That's
it has been like almost 15 years since I've interacted with the series completely, so I don't remember where everything goes, but I get the general direction of it. And so before we get into the predictions, let me just finish because I have 2 more notes. It's just that after Lucy runs in and sees Gwilanna turn, and they had that whole interaction, she sends Lucy back out. Lucy runs over to David, kind of tugging on him, telling him what's going on. And Gwilanna talks to Gretel, saying that she wants to watch this play out. The only way she's going to get this knowledge is if they allow David to do this and even assist him to get to the Arctic and start studying. So, and that's where that whole section leaves off. And
Oh, with her being like, bring me the wishing dragon for something that
yes.
Gretel was worried would be like something she was going to use her for and was terrified of that. And so was Grace in the closet terrified. So now the poor wishing dragon is in danger.
Yep. I also think this was like the also part where I'm like, she was caught doing something really creepy. She looks really creepy. Lucy's going to tell David about it. But then they're going to continue to allow her to, one, stick around, and two, help David? I was so confused. I was like, this woman is very evil. Like, obviously, that was something that when I was first reading the very first chapter we were going through, was that, I was like, oh, I'm getting weird vibes from her. Just the way she was treating Lucy.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I don't like her. I really don't like her. But by the end, I'm like, oh, I knew it. I knew she was bad. I knew she was a bad person. And then continues to prove she is a bad person after every chapter, like, she's involved in. And then this is like, oh, she's obviously doing something really sketch because Liz was like, don't do this. And she's like, I'm going to do it anyway. And then puts her asleep. And then Lucy runs in and sees her all evil looking and then runs out and be like, David. And David's just like, eh.
Yeah, I think that's the problem.
all nonchalant.
Yeah, like Liz is out for the count now. Lucy is 11 but 6.
Yes.
And so no one's really going to listen to her about her like mean aunt.
Yep.
David's just under a thrall right now, so he's not going to. So it's like, yeah, she gets to keep helping or do what she wants because there's no one around to kick her out.
I will say that also this last chapter you're good. This last chapter I was kind of on the edge of my seat a little bit. I was like, oh, what's going to happen? Like, oh no, like poor Liz. Like, I really don't know what's going on really, but like, oh no, poor Liz. But yeah, so wild stuff.
Yeah, that was a good cliffhanger because I wanted to see the child being born and then end on that. But I think seeing that you have to wait for, I don't even know if it's the next one, maybe even 2 to actually interact with it. I guess that brings me to my questions is now that you guys have read this part, a little refresher for Darien and fresh for Lucy, what are your guys's either predictions or what would you want to see going forward in the series if you had the dream exposition dump?
See, mine is hard because I do remember chunks of things that happened, and then when I was looking up this morning, I did just go completely off the rabbit hole and just read the synopsis for all the remaining books. So give me a minute to like divide. Division.
You're good. Then I'll ask you a different question.
Okay.
Since you read the synopsises of all of them, what about what did you think or your first thoughts on the 6th book in the series?
Chris, what? Christopher, why?
That one is what threw me through a loop reading this. It took me 2 extra years once the final book to come out before I was like, okay, I'm okay with finishing it because I just need to finish the series. But that 6th book hit me hard. I was like, the hell?
Yeah. Chris, what? Huh?
That's hilarious. Huh? I have no concept in anything that's happening right now, but I'm loving all of this.
Deeply perplexing. You should answer Diego's question.
Oh, yes. So I think what I would like is I'd like to see Gwilanna. There's a lot of G names that confuse me.
A lot of G's. Especially with all the dragons, too.
The evil aunt. I stopped trying to spell her name in my notes, and I just put Aunty. So I'd like to see the Aunty knock down a couple pegs.
Yep.
And then I'd like to see, I think I got the impression that there's like a rebirth of Gawain. Like, and I think like that would be kind of cool. As like an Avatar kind of thing, whereas like is reborn, but like knows is reborn, but has no personality of last thing.
It's like a whole
I think,
new
yeah,
person.
I think that would be kind of cool, because then I think that would put weight on Auntie's like plan. If like her plan was, a lot of this went over my head, so if I'm way off the rails, I do apologize.
Which I think is the funny bit of this.
Yeah. But it's like,
I can tell that, maybe it's just you guys have been doing this for so long and with similar series, you're not far off. I would say you're like on the path, but like sidestepped one sidestep,
And that's not your fault. That's Chris's fault.
Yeah.
Chris jumped off the path.
Yeah. I think I would like that.
Okay, so then my final question is that one that I had asked you at the very beginning. If you guys had your special dragons, what items would they hold and what abilities would they have?
I have my answer.
Of course. No, you go, please. Go.
Because at first I was like, writing, but I'm like, there's already a writing dragon, you know. I'm like, what else would there be cool? And I think I'm gonna go with like, I don't know if they have like specific. I guess they do, because the listening dragon and the writing dragon. I'm gonna go with video game dragon.
Video game dragon.
And I think the ability is like knows cheats or like knows the secret whereabouts in like all games, or like if you're trying to find. I recently bought the Switch too, and I recently started replaying Tears of the Kingdom, and I'm like, it would be nice to have a little dragon playing next to me, and I'm like, hey, where is this Korok? And they're like, oh, it's just around that rock over there, and I'm like, oh, fantastic, thank you, and I just go, and I think what happens is if I can like sprinkle a little like, I don't know, it's probably improbability, but every day the dragon has a different console they're playing. So like one day it'll be the Switch, and the next day it'll be a Nintendo DS, and the next time it'll be a GameCube. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Enough and like big enough.
The size of a die.
Yeah. So like just like playing different consoles like on this little like, you know, handhelds going throughout the day, and it just switches sporadically.
When you said that, that's so cool. I would love that too, because I play video game. I am holding out on buying a Switch too, because I play Zelda and I play Pokemon. So until the next one of those games come out and it's exclusively on the two, I want to boycott, because I'm not a big fan of the digital keys and the whole licensing thing that they're doing.
Yeah, that's fair. Literally,
you know,
fair.
like rough, but I know that I'm not strong enough to hold out past those games. So once one gets released, you know, I'll go. But it would be cool to have one of your dragons that you're talking about, because I'm picturing like his tail is the plug-in, you plug it into the TV, and you play all the old games like Mario or the old school Pokemon. Yeah,
that'd be cute.
I also, obviously, my brain first went to writing dragon.
Yeah.
Because even when I was a kid, I was like, writing dragon.
Yep.
Because we're authors,
Yes,
we're writers.
yes.
So that was big. But I was like, okay, let's branch out. And so I definitely have to go with podcaster dragon.
Oh yes. Oh, I love that.
She's got her little headphones, and is constantly just wanting to work on the sound quality of a room. Would be her biggest thing, is constantly just going up and adding little soundproofing here and there, and just trying to improve the sound quality of a space.
I was literally thinking like you wake up one day and she'd put soundproof all over the room, and you're like, why did you do that?
Even where we record,
it's just dead silent when you wake up.
Yeah, completely suppressed. Like, this can't be right. And her name would be Glimmer.
I like that.
What would your dragon name be?
The first thing that came to mind is Sparks.
It can't be. It has to be a G.
I know. I was like, oh no. It has to be a what?
It has to be a G name. They're all G names.
Oh, G names. Give me a minute. Oh yeah, they're all G names. Oh god.
They are. Yeah, that's the one special
little
rule.
Page I was on. Which
Gamer.
Oh, Gamer.
Gamer, that works. Yeah.
Ooh, Gigabyte.
Oh, I like Gigabyte.
Nice.
GG for short.
GG, like Vivi.
Yeah.
Lucy's cat's name is
my
Vivi.
Vivi. Yeah.
That's perfect.
I'm sure you said this on another episode. But
I have said it.
So
my full-time job, I'm in the union. I just push screws. I'm a construction worker. Put a bunch of drywall.
Nice.
So I said that.
So hearing them tear apart the drywall in these chapters must have been
it was a little heartbreaking. I was like, you know what? I could fix that. You know, you buy or hire me, and I'll do it cheaper.
It's not a big deal. I know what to do.
Yeah, we got this, guys. But so I said that in one hand he'd have a hammer, and then in the other hand he'd have a mic for podcasting as well.
I like that.
And then I kind of messed around with the colors. So I know you guys didn't get too much of the descriptions, but the dragons are usually a darker to softer green.
Mm-hmm.
And when they come alive and they use their abilities, their eyes turn violet. And my little color schemes that I've always wanted, because I like green's cool, but not all dragons are green. So I wanted a dark purple dragon that kind of, I don't know what you would call it, but you know how where a color gets kind of sparkly and then changes into another one very softly towards the end. Yeah, I wanted a dark purple with like a black essence kind of coming off.
Oh, nice.
What would your dragon be named?
I haven't gone that far yet.
What about you, Luce, color-wise?
I think color-wise, I keep thinking of, I can't remember what it's called. Like when you crack open a pearl and it's like that shimmery
Oh, Mother of Pearl.
Mother
is
of
what that's
Pearl.
called, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
just like the where it's multicolored.
Iridescent.
Iridescent. Yeah, I think that, but like I think like base color would be like something dark, but like is iridescent. Just kind of like a TV screen where it goes weird and you get all the
Yeah.
colors and stuff. That's kind of what
Yeah.
I'm thinking of.
Yeah. I would definitely
Awesome.
do also purple, but like of an amethyst stone, but not like a polish like in a ring, like
Yeah.
a solid color, but like when you have like an amethyst geode and it goes from like light to dark purple and has the
Yeah,
stripes
I like
through
that.
it, like that kind of thing.
Okay, well, that was all that I had for you guys. Do you want to sign out? I will link you guys down and everything. I know I didn't introduce these wonderful guests. Just so you guys know, this is Darien and Lucy from
Hi.
Eragon and Back Again. They have a few other podcasts, I believe, as well. I'll let them kind of introduce, but everything will link down below. Please give me some comments if you guys have anything you want to share with your dragon, their name, what they would have. My contact is gadzooks, the last DM at gmail.com.
That's very
You guys,
good.
do you guys have a little outro, or do you guys want to plug anything?
You're so good at
Oh,
it.
well, I've done this for 5 years.
Yes, you're so good at it, so I'll let her handle.
Dear, thank you so much for having us.
Yes,
you
thank
for
you.
reaching out. This was so fun.
Yep.
I'm equally excited that it's not over yet because we are about to swing over to
Yes.
our podcast, Eragon and Back Again,
Woo.
to record another episode with DM here.
Yep.
It is our Inheritance podcast. We
Yep.
are covering the Inheritance series by Christopher Paolini, chapter by chapter. We are actually a spoiler-free podcast, much like this show here, meaning if you've never read the Aragon books, but you kind of want to get into it and experience the show, you can do that. We promise we don't spoil anything,
Yep.
except maybe we get way too excited about Angela and Murtagh, and maybe that's a little bit of a spoiler, but beyond that, we're so excited to have you over there. Listeners, if you want to come check it out and join us, it is Eragon and Back Again. We are on all your favorite podcatchers. You can also hit us up on Instagram at
Yes.
Eragon Pod.
Yep. And we analyze the books from the writer's perspective.
Yes.
So over on our Instagram, we do have our writing takeaways from every episode that we do. Not every chapter, because we sometimes combine chapters.
Yes.
But like from the episode, we talk about writing takeaways. So if you're also
Yeah.
interested in like getting maybe some writing tips or think that you could benefit from that, that is also something that we offer.
Yeah, in the show, we're not just like going through and talking about it because there are so many podcasts that have done that. And that's
Yes.
always really fun. But we wanted to break down what it was about the Inheritance series that had, for example, Lucy rereading it over and over
Yes.
again, and what makes it work, what we like, and how it influenced us. Because it's a book series we both read when we were very young, and
Yes.
clearly there is a lot of influences that it had on us. There's a lot of influence that Paolini had in his own works,
Yes.
and kind of learning how to break that down and figure out what works, what doesn't, but why, and how it works mechanically.
Yep.
While also just talking about a thing we really
Really
love.
And also talking about like what stuff doesn't work or why. I'm like, Paolini, why did you do that? It doesn't make any sense. Like, I still think we've been at this for over a year now. And I think one of my favorite lines was by Darien is like, this kid is 15. He can't even drive. What do you mean we're going to put him on a back of a dragon? Like, so
Can't
good.
even-
Like, just,
you haven't
it's,
learned
you know,
his
just
format.
like little funny
You
things
can only
like
drive
that.
during daylight hours with adult supervision.
I have several notes on almost like that exact same thing for Roran in those chapters. So yeah, I'm excited because there's so many things that I
Yes.
had to hold back on this podcast. Oh shoot, I did the same thing. I had to hold back on this so that I could say it on your guys because yeah. I
Let's
just
do it
thank
right
you
now.
guys. I hope you guys had a safe flight in, have a safe flight out, and hit no turbulence.